Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm on for my first of two tutorial videos on using the product that I was sent from Beebeecraft. Now Beebeecraft specialise in beads and jewellery findings, but they also have other craft product as well, which you will see in my next tutorial video. So today's video I want to concentrate on these beautiful beads that I grabbed. They're just gorgeous, very pretty. But firstly, just to let you know that Beebeecraft do have a YouTube program and you can get free products by doing videos for them. You may get the chance if you have more than 100 subscribers. So if you're interested, there is a link down below for the YouTube program. There's also a link to their shop. You can click on that if you want to check out what they've got. And there are individual links to the products that I'm using in my tutorials for the month of August. Also, there's a coupon code, which is NAT10. So you can save 10% off for your whole order. And that is valid until the 18th of July of 2025. So you've got plenty of time to use that coupon code to get yourself a bargain. So I'm just grabbing some of my beads here, and I've got a needle with some DMC embroidery thread there. And I've made myself a book cover out of a used book cover, and I've just covered it in fabric. And I have some signatures. I've got 3 signatures that I want to sew into the cover. So I'm using the embroidery thread. I'm doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I just go through the middle of the inside of the signature, and then I go through the middle of the first row of my journal cover there. I add 3 beads, and then I take my thread through the top of both and then down through the bottom, and then I add 3 more beads again. And then I go back through the center, which is always the fiddly bit when you're bookbinding with the pamphlet stitch. And then I just make sure it's all nice and tight, and then I can tie a double knot to finish that signature off. Take my clips off. And that's the first one in with my lovely beads there. So I've got the middle signature to do here, so we'll do the same process. So I go in the middle, a lot of holes there. This time I just thread 2 beads on and then back through the top of both the cover and the signature. Then down to the bottom. Another 2 beads. And back through the middle again, which, yeah, I always find the hardest. And you've got to be careful, especially with this embroidery thread, because it has 6 sort of strands of cotton or whatever. It's easy to catch the thread with your needle, so I always just check that when I go through the hole, and if I've caught the thread, then I'll pull my needle back down a bit and loop the thread up over the needle so it's not caught again. So just checking the beads again, and then I realise that it's not really looking right with the 2 beads down the bottom there. It's good before you sort of tie off just to check the placement of your beads and make sure they're where you want them. So I decided to pull my thread back out and loop an extra bead on there in the middle. Then I have to go through again. And then I can tighten that and tie it off. Again, just checking placement of the beads and that it's all nice and tight. Then I've got to put the 3rd and final signature in exactly the same way as the first 2, but on that last row of holes. I pre-punched all the holes. There's lots of tutorials on doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch if you're interested in searching. I've done a few on my channel, but I thought today I just wanted to show you how I'm adding the beads mainly. I haven't actually done spines with beads before. I have done spines with buttons on. So I've now added all of the beads, just checking the placement again before I tie the final signature off. And they're looking beautiful. And that's my cover all done, ready to embellish. So I have this lot of jewellery that I've got secondhand. It's broken bits and pieces and that I've found in the secondhand stores. I've sorted them all into colours. Now I've collected these over a number of years and it's about time I got using them. And that's exactly why I bought the flower beads that I got this month from Beebeecraft. So I'm just picking some blue beads there. It looks like a bracelet that I've got. And I think it'll go nicely with the blue flower bead that I have there. And what I want to do is make some spine dangles. So they're all ready to go for future journals. So I've just zoomed in a little bit. Hopefully you can see a bit better what I'm doing here. But you can see there's a lobster claw already on the bracelet there, and I want to leave that on. I find them good to attach my dangles to my spine with. There are a couple of star charms and I don't want them on this dangle. So first thing I want to do is remove them. And they're attached just using some jump rings there. So I'm just using my pliers to pull the jump ring apart so that I can take the little star charm off. And I'll keep those charms. I'll be able to use them on other projects. Now, it is fiddly and I fumble around a fair bit because, yes, I'm not used to doing beading or anything like this. Got to start somewhere though, and using your secondhand jewellery is a great way to start. So I'm just taking the second star charm off, and I keep the jump rings that I'm taking off as well because I can always use them in other places. So it takes a bit of fiddling to get this second one off. Now I'm figuring out how I wish to attach my flower. So I find a little silver bead that I want to use. And then I decide that the chain's just a little long for what I want with this dangle. So I'm just seeing where I can separate it to make it the length that I want. So I'm able to just pull one of the chain pieces apart and shorten it. Now I have a box full of old jewellery chains here and I'm just finding some silver chain there, and it has a little dangle, teardrop shaped dangle on the end, and I want to use that in my project as well. And I've also got all my jewellery findings here that I've grabbed secondhand and cheap around the place. You can get all this sort of stuff from Beebeecraft as well, which is great to know because I'm sure I will run out of a lot of it if I keep making these dangles. So I'm getting one of these pins and it's got a loop on the end of it. And I decide that's going to be the best method of attaching my flower. So you can see the loop there. I just want to undo the loop a little bit so that I can hang my chain that's got the little teardrop charm over that loop, and then I close it back off again. Then I can add my silver bead that I found in my stash. And then I can put it through my flower. And that means that the little dangle will hang out the bottom of my flower, which I think looks really nice. So I just use my pliers to bend the wire in an L shape on top of the bead there. And then I get my round nose pliers and I just use my finger to push the wire around to form another loop up the top there. Then I grab my little wire snips and cut off the excess wire. I'll keep that because I can make more little loops with that bit of wire as well. I'll keep everything. And then I just make sure that it's closed off nicely and that it's sitting straight on top of my bead there. And now that bead's ready to attach to the chain. So there's the jump ring there that I separated to shorten the chain. So I can just use that to hook my bead over now. And close that off. And then I decide to grab the 2 beads there that I took off the chain previously, and I can separate those and use them as extra little dangles on my big dangle there. So there's just a jump ring there holding them together, so I can separate that to get them apart. And I can use that open jump ring there to hang that brown bead back onto my chain. Just figuring out where I think they'll look the best. So I just loop that jump ring through the chain up the top of the dangle there. Then I grab one of the jump rings that I took off previously and use that to hook through the other bead. And that one's ready to hang on my chain. So very, very simple, but heaps and heaps of fun. It's great reusing that old jewellery. And about time I had some pre-made dangles ready to go on my journals. So here's the bead dangle that we just finished making. So really simple, but a great way to recycle all your old jewellery, all the jewellery that you find at secondhand stores like me. And I add the little chain down the bottom. I like that look. And it looks cool with the bead in there as well. And then I use the bits that I took off to shorten it, just to add a couple more little dangles on the edges. So I did sit down the other night and make a whole heap of these dangles for my journals. So we've got this one with the lilac coloured flowers. There are no beads in those. This broken necklace was on your cord, so, and I decided to add 3 flowers to the bottoms. I really like that. Now I've got the orange flower, and that goes really nicely with your brown beads. So I used all this, so it's all broken jewellery that I used, and just added that bit to the bottom, which I really love. And there's some beads up in there. So I am not a good beader at all. I have no experience really. I've only done a couple of dangles with old jewellery previously, but I'm learning as I go how to do the loops and that sort of thing. So that was this one, and I put one of the beautiful big colour lilies on the bottom of that with a bead in there dangling. Another one with the colour lilies. Whoops, I think I've got 2 there. So I've got 2 on that one, and it's got your faux pearls. And I just added back one of these pink stones as well. And they've got faux pearls in there. So I use the lobster claws on all of them. I think they're a nice non-bulky way to attach these to rings and that on your journals for your spine dangles. So again, I've just used some of the other bits of chain that were on this necklace and just moved them around where I like the looks of them to create more dangles. Got this blue one. Such a great way to reuse the jewellery. Another blue one that's got 3 flowers. Another purple one, I love this one. It's got some semi-precious stones. And this really simple green one. The beauty of this is you can always add bits and pieces. And then I did this yellow one. And that's got a whole lot of stuff dangling out of the bottom of it. I might take these discs off and just leave the beads dangling out and then add the discs up further, I think. I think that might look a bit better. But I still love it. So I think that is it for my dangles. They're so much fun to make. A little fiddly getting used to doing the beading, but once you get the hang of it, it's great fun moving things around and using what you've got to make something beautiful. And a lot of the time with your necklaces, you only get the one like dangly pendant or whatever to use as a bit of a wow factor on it. And you have all these leftover bits, so it's great to grab these flowers just to add something absolutely stunning to the bottom of my dangles. So I really love those. Very happy with the way they've turned out, and they're going to look beautiful on some future journals. And then we have a little yellow journal that I made, which I'm going to really enjoy embellishing. And we use the other beads on the spine. You could do heaps with these as well. Dangle them down when you tie signatures in. If you leave it long down the bottom, you could add some beads to that. Just make little dangles with your bulb pins and that with little beads coming off. So, but I really loved using those on the spine. I think they look really cool. So I hope you enjoyed that and that gave you some ideas. Thank you so much to Beebeecraft for the awesome product to showcase. All the links are down below if you want to head over and see what they've got in the shop, plus the link for the YouTube program and the individual links to these separate packs of beads that I am using today and the other products that I'll be showing in my next tutorial. So be good, take care. Remember to use your code at checkout if you do purchase anything, and I will see you again soon. Bye.